Okay, let me bring you to our conversation this morning. But again, welcome back to the show. If you're watching right now on 3 Music, it's the squad, the culture squad is in the building, or more like in the building. Now, this morning, we are focusing on the fan armies, okay? It will interest you that, you know, at first it was just a matter of having fans, having people like an artist for their song. But over the years, these, these likes have evolved to become armies who heavily protects their artists. They become like sort of a barrier around the artist. They guard the artist, they protect the artist's music, not about legal rights, no, but what I'm talking about, the artist brand. Now, in Ghana alone, we have seen quite a number of artists, you know, wake up their fan army sometimes to go head to head with other people or to gain love as well for the things that they do. Now, such armies in Ghana are the likes of, we've got the Bhimnation, we've got the Sarknatives, and mostly I like the way they all roll around nations. We've got the the likes of Opanka Nation. We've got the Shea Gangs. What about Eno Baroni? Has she got a name for hers?
Barons.
The Barons. That's a quick reaction there. I don't know. I'm sure she's got a name for hers as well. How about you help us with the various names of some of the fan armies you have? I'm told Jackie's got Jackie Chance as well. It makes perfect sense, right? Kinata has got Team Move, you know. Now, where do you find yourself? And I'm talking loyal fans, not floating fans like some of us. Loyal fans. Where do you find yourself? And what are some of the characteristics? What are some of the conversations that happen within your fan armies and your fan groups or your fan nations? We'd love to know these things as we talk about the influence of fan armies on the artist and the music industry. Some are very vocal. Some are quite, and for want of a better expression, I don't want to say violent in terms of physical violence. I'm talking about aggression. Yes, thank you, St. Peter's. That would be 3 points. 3 points. 3 points. The aggression. Others are very relaxed. Others, they don't talk. They just support their artists. And how are the artists also capitalizing on the influence of their fan armies to better themselves, to promote their music, and to push their craft? Well, that is our discussion this morning, and the team is going to delve into it. But first, let's first identify the most popular fan armies in Ghana. Team roundtable. Of course, we can start off with one of the very popular ones.
Yes.
The Shatta movement.
Probably the most popular one.
Possibly the most popular fan army that you might have.
Yeah, very populated.
Very populated.
Very populated.
It was very evident when the fan army for Shatta Wale, the Shatta movement, was mobilized to come support during the Rain concert. If you recall, that happened about 4 or 5 years ago or so. My memory serves me right. You saw the massive love and support, the merchandise. It was amazing. Even you saw they were bussed.
From Takra.
Equally, a tweet from their soldier or their leader, which was, all leaders of the various Shatta movements in various regions should contact, one person was Flex, is it Flex Jermaine, right?
Yes, Flex Jermaine. Yes, Flex Jermaine is actually one of the leading voices of the Shatta movement.
Yes, and I saw the tweet that they should contact him, so they prepared themselves. And on that day of the Freedom Wave concert, you saw how various buses were mobilized and people were bused to the Accra Sports Stadium. Then we have the Sarknatives or the Sark Nation, also a very loyal, strong, structured, if I can say, committed group to Sarkodie. You always see Sarkodie making reference to the Sark Nation, and a very nostalgic or a very goose-bumping moment was the Global Citizen when he called on Sark Nation to show the people how it was done, and they dropped that song. Was it original? Yes, original.
Yeah. They term or they deem that as the Sark Nation anthem.
Yeah, the Sark Nation anthem. Maybe if we have visuals on that Global Citizen moment, I think it's streamable, right?
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
They still have
rights
content.
So we don't have anybody filming off the phone.
On that day,
who will do some 6 months in someone class.
On that day, I know people had opportunity to film, but due to some interesting technical challenge, you couldn't upload it at during that period.
They
so
shut
you were
off
out of that
space,
that perimeter. So
before you.
I personally haven't seen any phone recording of that particular performance. But the truth is, the way that performance was filmed and documented,
is it possible to put the visuals on without sound?
They will still flag it. Yes. But these days, the content ID is not
the
only
computer
to
is
the
watching
audio.
the thing.
The content ID
inside me to go let them see the pay something small because they take money off my face.
No, these days the content ID is not only to the audio. It's also to the
text the whole thing, the metadata.
Can we blur it small?
I'm sorry. It's not gonna happen.
So that was
editor is sweating the control.
That was one moment that even for me who was watching from home, I mean, I just had my battery was completely, gone. The goosebumps was just crazy. So that's Sarknatives. Now, recently, early January, Wendy Shay was in the studio as well as she rallied the Shay gang to meet her at the West Hills Mall.
To shut down the West Hills Mall.
To shut down the West Hills Mall. Well, regardless if whether all of them were Shay gangers or not, the numbers were very impressive, telling you the massive support that the Shay gang has got on, other Grey members or other part loyal members to come support Wendy Shay at the event. It doesn't end there. There is more. You find out that most artists now call on their fan base to mobilize their fan base to get all the support.
Yeah, I remember Stoneboy. One of the VGMA seasons or one of the VGMA eras. He actually mobilized his funds. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. For those of you listening, I think he took them to a very nice place outside Accra.
I think it was Paloma. No, it wasn't outside.
Wasn't outside Accra. It was Paloma.
The massive voting.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was somewhere in Paloma or somewhere around Paloma.
Ring Road?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Somewhere around Paloma or Paloma to do the voting. I
don't remember the venue. That's what I'm saying. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I mean, just to add to what you're saying, that he mobilized them, spoke to them on the importance of, voting and everything. And I thought it was a fantastic way of community building, engaging with your fan base. Sark Nation also. I remember Sark actually hosted a party for Sark Nation just to appreciate them, just to show them some love for the fact that they've supported him all these years, and he touched base with some of it. He actually identified some of his leading, or shall I say, his loudest fans amongst the nation. Had the opportunity to take pictures with them, spoke to them directly as part of building community. I don't know about the others, but for Sark Nation and Bhimnation, I know of these events that happened.
I love the intimacy between,
Shatta Wale also had an opportunity to give his fan a car or something. Yes, Shatta also did some kind of activation with his community where he brought the fans together.
Point of correction, the only artist to have gifted his fan base a vehicle.
The only artist who have gifted his car. It's 2 cars, right?
It's very important. Very important.
So you were saying something about
very important that we correct the PR. Yes, please. Now that we've done PR classes here, I'm top notch.
So 2 cars. It was 2 cars and a motorbike, I think.
2 vehicles. 2
vehicles, and I think he gave one of his bodyguards.
We are also grateful to the likes of Sewami and Co, who have gifted, Shaxi on behalf of Shaxi.
Oh yeah. Cars for the run of the business.
Yes. Let's move on to Bhimnation as well. So we've had countless moments and times. We've seen how Stoneboy also rallies up the Bhimnation, to support his movement, his music as well. Brilliantly done. I must applaud him for that as well. Constantly, being in the face of his fans. And I think in December when he did the Beam concert. I mean, the concert is actually named after his his fan base.
I mean, we like to connect with our audience, and at Beam it's all about family, And no, bro, let's do it down. Beam is all about family and about holding on to that. Hey, my friend Shari. Bro.
Hey, Charlie boys.
It's about how we hold it down and make sure that Ashaman is not forgotten in our journey, even as we're still roaming the planet. Ashaman is a small place, but we are now planetary beings. We roam the planet, bringing music to everybody. So Bhimnation is, as we are speaking, a global movement.
Okay.
You know?
That brings us to the first part of our conversation, which falls into four parts.
You won't give the other people.
No, I was trying to get the list of the
fans
other.
Of Daddy Lumba. We are there.
Which? Oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
Fans of Daddy Lumba.
Which will be the lovers?
And then they have DL fans as well.
DL fans.
So there's die-hard fans of Daddy Lumba, and then there are DL fans, you know, as well.
That's what DHDL.
I don't
DHF.
Then again,
they had fans of Daddy Lumba.
DHF ODL.
No, they don't do abbreviations.
They don't do abbreviations.
Yeah, it's just die hard.
They can afford all the letters.
Themselves die hard and they know.
They didn't have Twitter. It's because of Twitter that
a very interesting debate.
But what about the high graders?
No, I was coming to that as well.
Yes.
Samini.
Yes, Samini's high grade as well. I mean, I think it's been one of the long-lasting fan bases.
I was going to ask that when Kofi Kinata was under high grade family, right? He also used to call his fans high grade, until he left.
Yeah, now
until he stopped.
Until he was
Kofi.
Until he was.
You know what he's talking about?
Until what?
Kofi used to be high grade. Until he stopped grading high.
So I don't know
then
if
he moved.
I don't know if his fans now are a combination of high grade and that of West Side. Is it West Side?
Bro, you sound
to move.
Yeah, West Side Legacy is.
I look like that's his label, I think.
Yeah.
Because he always says that West Side Legacy.
With
you sound like a drug dealer on a TV show. I don't know if it's a combination of high grade and West Side. Relax. Relax. Don't concoct anything on TV.
I mean, we spent about 10 minutes already not settling into what the main conversation is supposed to be about. Yes, and not to forget Kwakes's Abodam. Now, we cannot forget because
I'm a member there as well, in case you need a rep.
Okay. At one point in time, I can tell you that was one of the hardest, strongest fan base that you could ever have.
Kwakes?
Yes. Abodam. Yes. We can't forget it. We can't forget it. So anyway, let's start off with the first part of the conversation. I'm hoping that lasts 15 minutes, but I know it won't last 15 minutes because this debate is going to be very heated. Which fan base? And please do not limit your thoughts to just the current, as we're looking at this from times past, from Kojo Entry, Daddy Lumba. They may not necessarily have a name for their fan base, but there is a following.
There's a collective.
That also is a collection, a collective, that also forms a fan base for them. So we want to look at the most influential, the biggest, the possibly perceived, and I choose my words carefully, the possibly perceived, because the fan base is, there are 20, loud on Twitter, making it look like the artist is the biggest. For all you know, there are just 15 people who
the same person with the same 15 accounts.
Yes, one person managing multiple accounts. So I'm asking you, which fan base in Ghana is the most perceived to be the biggest fan base of an artist? Roundtable discussion. Cyril, start off with you.
Shatta, Bhimnation family. Perceived because noise is perception, right? And when I say noise, the louder something is, the bigger we think it is.
Have you considered? That's why I went back to the likes of Daddy Lumba, which
no.
mentioned.
You know, I still think because see, the Daddy Lumba fan base.
You don't think Daddy Lumba or Kojo Entry has got a bigger fan base
for the past? Let me put a cross argument across. For the past 20 years, have Daddy Lumba and Kojo Entry continued to gain new fans with the young audience?
To some extent.
No, I'm not talking about legacy fans or people who know of them or blah, blah. People who would show up. Yeah, like our Gen Zs and what's after the Gen Z?
Gen Q.
Alpha Gen Z.
Alpha Gen Z.
That's what they are called.
Yeah, Alpha. No, I tell you.
So the Gen Zs, Alpha, even late season millennials, are they really die-hard Daddy Lumba fan? Because I'm a Daddy Lumba fan.
Right.
But I'm not a die-hard. I'm in a collective. When somebody says
Cyril, let me just take it out of the
what's the difference between a fan and the collective we are trying to describe?
Well, I mean, still, who constitutes as a fan is just a supporter of the music, who speaks the music, who talks the music, who sings the music.
So what's the difference between that and the 12 people we are describing down on Twitter?
No,
let's separate those.
So that's what I'm saying. The perceived fan, and I am a strong. I love Shatta Wale. Maybe I'm not an official fan. SM fan member.
You are not official,
but unofficial. But I love the artist. I love his music.
In fact, you are an official PR.
Unofficial PR. Yes, I have to print a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Unofficial PR. But I look at a fan base of a Kojo entry, Daddy Lumba, and I beg to differ on the conversation that Sion is having.
I would jump in to say it's the times that makes the difference. So and I want to counter what he says. On social media and in the digital era we find ourselves.
Exactly.
Shatta Wale's fans are, like he said, the loudest, the most supportive, as is seen with their works on social media. They are like the diehards. Sometimes I think that they do it without even thinking. Whatever it is, they are there loving. However, you could have a huge fan base or an even bigger fan base for Daddy Lumba, but they are not on your socials. They are not the ones making the noise. They will show up at his concert, sing, support. I tell you something. I was at the Cap Farm Legends Night, and I keep saying this story.
Sorry, we left out Links Entertainment. Kidi and Kwame Eugene, do they have a fan base?
That's a very good question.
I think that Kwame in time past has complained about this fan base thing. He in time past has complained about this fan base thing. I think he said that it's the reason we are not even growing. Because
save that conversation.
So that conversation will come later.
Yeah.
And if you can pull up a write-up about that, we can put it on the screen and read it. About Kwame Eugene complaining about how the fan base is actually crumpling our music industry. I think there's a story about that online. But
back to DL and
I think
likes.
When I was at the Cap Farm Legends Night, I saw legends. Ohiniba Kisi perform. Yeah, we jammed to it. It was okay. Then Champon, I keep saying, spent over an hour on that stage. He danced with the dancers. He rocked the stage. Just a few people went up there to give him cash. When it was Lumba's turn and he came, there was a long queue of people cash going, givers. Yes, of cash givers. I like that. People wanting to just mount the stage to show how much they love him by spraying some cash on him, and he was giving shout outs to them. Like, I remember Sawa went to the Sawa Mia, even one man wanted to knock him off because of the love that he had for him.
So that makes it diehard.
Yeah, diehard people who are even fans that you find in the SM community. That's how bad it's, whether it's good or bad.
So are you saying that in this case, if Shatta and Lumba were to have a show, though I'm coming.
Okay, I was going to beg you not to consider.
No, because she said something.
Like show-wise,
I think
on the same day.
Okay, sorry.
Okay,
I want to ask you.
I'm sorry. I'm muting my mic.
No, because she said you could find an SM fan, you can find a diehard Lumba fan in Shatta movement. Right?
Yeah, I know one personally.
Great. So
I can even give a shout.
So
Silver Lady, wherever you are, and she's called Silky Lady. I think she works at the DL station now. She's a diehard Lumba fan, a diehard Shatta fan as well.
Good. Now, so the question is, because you're talking about times and seasons, right? Now that Lumba is not active as it were with Shatta Wale, right? But if these two people were to have a show on the same day, do you think that a diehard fan would rather go to a Lumba show because that is where...
It depends on your age and the dispensation.
I'm coming.
For me, if you ask me, it depends on the age and what these two people mean to you.
Okay.
You understand? That's what I'm saying, that the age and then the digital environment we found ourselves in or find ourselves in has influenced how we perceive, who a diehard fan is.
Right.
Like, my mom or whoever... at that age could still be a Shatta fan.
Right.
But she would go for a Lumba concert over a Shatta Wale because of the age, the memory she carries of Lumba. Exactly. Okay. So for me, I think if the digital... the digital thing makes a huge difference.
Right.
So you will not see a diehard... Look, even if you have monitored the space over the weekend, it tells you what kind of fan base Lumba has. It's almost like an untouchable human being.
Yeah.
How much did they?
Well,
I was going to come to that.
But Lumba leads in that league. Lumba leads. Even Kojoenchi doesn't come close.
Because anytime,
I remember there was a time City FM ran a poll.
Yes, Kojoenchi versus Lumba.
What was the result?
Lumba actually won. But you see, that's the thing about this fan-based thing.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you enter the Kojoenchi, the Lumba debate, that's when you realize that the fandom thing is a crazy community. It's a crazy conversation. Cyril, what is it?
We have like about 40 good minutes ahead of us.
Efo, go ahead.
No, finish your point.
No, the way he's scratching his head.
Hello, Presec, can I go?
No, wait,
go ahead.
wait.
Achimota. It's doing worse. How did you do that to yourself? Achimota,
but I wanted him to conclude on that.
No, let him go.
So what I'm saying
let
is,
Wale go.
At the end of the day, I am trying to figure out what qualifies a fan to be a diehard fan. Because you said that, for example, you love Shatta Wale, you love his music, right? And you also would like to call yourself an unofficial PR. Does that make you a diehard fan?
No, we call him. He doesn't call himself.
Okay, we call you an unofficial. Does it make you a diehard fan? So I'm just looking at the attributes that is often subscribed to, a diehard fan and someone who is just a fan of Shatta Wale's music or a fan of Sarknatives music. I want to look at the psychology behind some of even the actions, because she says Lumba is untouchable. What that means is if I'm a diehard Lumba fan, and whatever it is, whether it's negative press, whatever that's going for Lumba, I am going to defend Lumba regardless. Whatever it is, even if I'm not going to be extreme, but whatever it is. So far as negative press, I will make it a point as a diehard Lumba fan to defend and protect the property Lumba or the brand Lumba.
Whether it makes sense or not.
Whether it makes sense or not.
Like what I do.
That's what I want to understand.
And
is that what it means?
That's why I put the two together. And that's what the diehard Lumba fans do. And that's the same thing the SM movement does.
So do you think the SM movement is inspired by how the diehard Lumba fans
No,
are?
I don't think they take inspiration from it. I think it's just the love for the artist. So they aren't perturbed about the negative press. Theirs we are focusing on it. Like there's a way Bulldog says is everything Shatta says is right.
Right.
So for them to everything Lumba does is right.
Right.
So even with this great Ampon conversation, if you monitor it, a lot of people don't care about what the conversation is. Whether we've heard repeatedly that he's allegedly done such to people, they don't care. Their fan is their big boss is Lumba.
Right.
And they'll tell you, do you know the legacy Lumba has? Not thinking about what he's alleged to have done. They tell you, do you know how many albums he had? Do you know how long he's lived his life, as a superstar? Just recently, I was told that back in the day,
So it looks like Lumba's fan base is also another fiery.
I mean, yes, they might not be the loudest. They might not be the loudest on social media,
but they're active.
They're very active. Let's Lumba put together a show or put up a show. You will see them there sing back. I said at the Cap Farm thing, I realized that Lumba has gone. Look, when Amachi Dede was performing, the times we took our seats. The times we took our seats until he drops a bang. Look, we didn't even have enough of Lumba.
Wow.
Everybody was on their feet from start to finish and still wanted more.
This
and that's the kind of spirit
right?
that the SM fans show or exhibit when Shatta Wale is. So
6, 7
back in the day, if there was a digital thing that we could refer to, I'm sure they would have said this was the Lumba of that time. But now you see, even now, after how many years on, he still has a massive following. They might not be the loudest. That's why I keep saying, because the age and the times have changed. So they are not. They don't have the fastest fingers.
But back in the day, were they loud?
Yes.
Is it because times
and
have
that's what has transcended to today.
Okay.
So you will see that with time, the people who are supporting, and that's what I believe, I could be wrong, the people who are supporting SM today, who have the fingers and are doing the Twitter business, might not have that strength in few years to come, but let's Shatta put together a show. Because in few years to come, the priorities might have changed, but the love won't go away.
Right.
Because they have a catalog that they can still refer to. So it is like how today your parents will tell you that, hey, back in our day, call jams. Now when and there was now when. So that is how they too will be telling their children, and their children will be like, who is this guy you guys are talking about?
So
because at that time there'll be the children will have another king that they are using their fingers, and to talk about and all of that. But when Shatta puts up a show, these same people will show up.
Quality Prince on Twitter says, 3 minutes, don't forget that Shatta Movement is the only fan base in Ghana to be nominated in MTV Base Awards. I can't confirm.
We can't verify that. How do we verify?
We know for a fact that the Lumba fan base are currently the fan army
of the year for 3 Music.
For 3 Music. There's also Meditants from Medical.
Militants.
Wow.
I thought
are we on?
AMG gang. Control gang or something like that.
Are we on?
Yeah,
are we live?
Yes.
Thank you for your submission, Ms. Sabatre.
Hey.
I just had to. No, see, here's my point, right? Here's my controversy. Is liking the person's music, going to their show and jamming at their performance definition of fan base?
I think we should define that.
It's a definition of fan base, but it's not a definition of the diehard.
You relax for me. Let me work this.
Okay, work it. Get my shoulders
into it. Only jet fuel today. I feel the tank. With a go. So, my point is, brands like Daddy Lumba, Dasebre, Kojoentri, Ofuriamponsa, they are the Osibisas of those 90s, late 80s, 90s eras. They are legends. They don't need to put out no more music. They don't need to do no more promo. They have reached the pinnacle of stardom in this country. You don't need to like their music, actively stream it, buy the paraphernalia, go to their events to be a fan of their music or relate to their music. Any crowd in Ghana, when the DJ flips on Abenwaha, we go mad. Regardless what we were there to do. Because it is...
The young, old, small, big, fat, small.
That is the legacy feel of those brands. When Kojoentri comes on, there's even a respect to the name Kojoentri, even before the music hits. That's legacy brand. When we're talking about the fan base, we're talking about people who go the extra mile, people who buy paraphernalia, people who put stickers on their trotro and their private cars, people who go out and get tattoos, people who come online and threaten random Olele that they'll come and find him in his house. Not that I'm condoning such negative behavior, but the people who go to that extent of forgetting about the music and living the life with the mindset that I am here for this artist, no matter what. You yourself made a point, defending even when it's not supposed to be defended. I don't think we do that for Daddy Lumba or Kojoentri or Dasebre. We love them holistically. It's like a Bob Marley Jay-Z thing. In 50 years when they play Bob Marley, Stare It Up, people will still jam. But in those 50 years, the digital world and the generations that will come would be worshipping Drake. Maybe the Jay-Z conversation we have in Christ is premature. In 50 years, 20 years, nobody will mention Jay-Z. They'll be like Drake, J. Cole, Kendrick. So my question is that since the year 2000, that I would say digital, that's 2000 like Discman style time. So like digital music, CDs, blah, blah, blah. Has the Daddy Lumba, Kojoentri, Dasebre, Ofuriamponsa audience been growing further? Or has it remained at that pinnacle? While the likes of a Bandana can come on the scene, leave, come back in the digital era as a Bandana from Ghana, and start a fan base that has become the army, the legions we see today. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Well, that's a very interesting point you've also shared.
I don't agree.
Well, you finish. Well, I don't know, but that's a very interesting point that you shared.
The reason why I would say SM is still the biggest is that the generational gap.
But can you pitch that to Bhimnation as well?
Yeah. Bhimnation, same thing.
I mean,
Bhimnation is huge. It might be even close, to be very honest.
Which of these two armies is probably the...
No, I think SM carries
I think on each... No, I think on each... Let me explain to you.
With everything.
No, let me explain to you.
Undoubtedly.
Unfortunately, we don't have data.
We don't have data.
But
let me say this for our perception.
All right.
Let me say this for our perception. It's been said everywhere. The perception, right? And this is not a shade to anybody. The perception is that SM people are like this, they are like that, they are like this. They are rowdy, they are loud. They
of course they are. You see, that's why they are threatening somebody.
Let me say, Sarknatives have taken the same bullet. They go come for you, right? It's very rare you hear that being said about.
Olele, has any Sarknative or Bhimnative sent you a message that they are coming to your house?
That's the point.
Maybe they might have.
Miss G, you are adding to my point. I'm saying exactly what you are saying.
Let me answer it so that it clears
the air. No, you will ask. You hold it.
Answer it so it clears the air.
He wants to answer the question.
Whether it's a Sarknative, a Bhimnative, Shatta movement, what I've come to realize is, if you speak true to any of these powers, they come for you.
So make my point.
So they've come for me in several ways. It depends on what I'm saying.
Let me make my point. Let me make my point. Let me land my point. Yeah. The fan base cannot be looked at in isolation. The leader of the fan base is the artist. And the fan base always reacts to what the artist is doing. So when Shatta himself is coming for J. Foley, he's coming with the army. He might not consciously say, army, this morning we go for J. Foley because of this and that.
Are you in their WhatsApp groups?
No, well, benefit of the doubt, so I'm saying. But whatever Shatta is doing, his army resonates with that and they amplify it. So if you have a character which is as vociferous as Shatta is, who is opinionated, shares his opinion, no they fear anybody, you have that characteristic resonating in the fan base. When you have a voice that is not so confrontational and is more quiet
it
and more
reflects on the fan base.
It reflects on the fan base
attitude.
As the attitude. So you might have a Stonebwoy, a Bhimnation.
Cyril is making some really, what do you call it? Definitely blow punches here, like left jab punches. You're looking at yourself
and say, do I fit in the category?
No, because what he's saying is that let's be careful that we don't use the attitude of the artist to represent the fan base, but let's look at the fan base and their
attributes.
Their numbers and their because if we use their attitude, then an artist like Kwabena now doesn't have a fan base.
He doesn't have a fan base
because he's very quiet.
Because he's not confrontational, he's not quiet, he's not online doing any noise.
No, so he doesn't have a known fan base. You see, that's why we say that. For me, I think that
just talking about the
fan
top
base.
Three. Yeah, like I'm even just talking about the top
and
three.
There's a die-hard, and that's for me. That's the difference.
There
are people who will show up who are J. Foley's, or maybe the people. Let's just use. There are people who are Bhimnatives, people who are Sarknatives, SM, but will still show up at the Kwabena show.
Yeah.
On a day that they are
Do you think SM natives don't show up at BIM shows?
Oh, I think
they might not show up repping SM. But are you telling me that in this Ghana there's no one fan that is repping SM but listens to Sark or listens
they
to...
will.
Yes,
if they don't, how do they even criticize or critique the work? They will.
Millions.
But they are not die-hard fans. That's a difference that we need to separate. Like, for instance, I consume Shatta's music. I consume Stonebwoy's music. I consume Sarknatives' music. I'm not a die-hard fan of any of them. No, but I consume their music. I will go for a concert of either of them or any of them if I feel like I want to. Showing up at the concert, supporting their music or singing it, using it for my reels, talking about it, doesn't make me a diehard fan. I think that the separation for me is going beyond just the consumption of the person's product. You know, for me, that's what I'm thinking. And putting your life on the line, sort of. Or going out of your way to be like their lawyer when they are not there, or to be their defense or their shield.
That's why I understand why you say that's why like an SM will be a very you have more diehard fans.
Exactly in SM because they are like you said.
But when it comes to
the
commercial base, the church I give it to Bimu because I see
stickers
all over.
No, even SM. Even SM, I've seen an SM short run driver.
That's what I'm saying.
Who carries around a tattoo of Shatta Wale.
I don't want to quote and seem like we are focusing on Shatta
alone
and Stone. And listen, we know these fan bases. We know which fan base is considered. We know which fan base is considered to be calm and controlled and refined.
None of them actually.
No, comparatively, and we know which fan base people have a problem with and say, they know. We know. We don't even need to mention the names. You listening, you watching, you know these two comparisons. It is because it is because it is hinged on. If my hand, I'm going to uninstall. Hey, production. If I punch her, will you see?
No.
You will see her. Thank you.
Going to the next
they say they will see. I'm going to the next.
Is my friend
before
this morning.
You see, I do this now. You get it. All I'm trying to say is that the fan bases carry the characteristic of their artist. So if Cyril is a loud, confrontational person, right? Anybody who supports Cyril or is a fan of Diad or Cyril will assume like and so it's Cyril and his squad there, don't mess with them. And maybe Cyril and his squad, there'll be 5 guys. The fact that Foley is quiet doesn't mean he doesn't have 5,000 behind him. Because I can't hear the 5,000 people. So I'm saying that let's not get caught in that fallacy of assuming that because we see a certain fan base louder or more confrontational or consistently present than another one means that they outnumber another one. So when a tree falls in the forest, you won't hear it. But the size of that tree might be 10 times the lawn that they are mowing outside your house that's making all the noise. So let's be deep in the comparison. That's what I'm saying. I agree with everything you said, though. But I'm just saying let's note that in the comparison.
Let's look
your
at
point. Kwabena.
Yeah.
Big fan base. But who is making noise for Kwabena way? Nobody.
But Cyril, do they have to make noise to prove.
That's what I'm saying. That the only definition we have is noise.
Yeah, it's not backed by data. So we are just using how
we don't even have paraphernalia sales, record sales.
We do have not records of them, but we know that at least I think the 3 top, Sark, Shatta,
that's on top of the mind.
So have had to, even Stone had to open a shop where he sells his paraphernalia. At a certain point, Sark did, Shatta did with Rain, even prior to the Rain concert and all of that. So at least these 3 have shown.
I was thinking the same line but the part I agree with you was the fact that, look, I feel that Daddy Lumba or Kojo and Co might have the biggest fan bases in the country.
Yeah, but for the times that we find ourselves in.
I don't know, because I feel like it is the like you said, the platforms and the users are the ones who are amplifying the perception.
That's why I asked you about the noise.
That's why I feel like, because I wouldn't use shows and concerts to define whether, but I'm just saying to myself that, look, if you put Daddy Lumba down any day, like, look, that guy's love, is from that 16-year-old girl possibly.
Because her parents were listening to read.
But if you're using Miss G's metric here in what she's saying in terms of times and season, right? I don't think that the Lumba can get the numbers that came to Shatta Wale's concert at the stadium.
No.
Now.
No. It will never happen.
That's what I'm saying.
But it won't happen because the people who are engaging the platforms,
they don't have the strength.
They don't have the strength.
They don't have the strength.
Music has a point.
They don't have the strength. They don't. Because you know what? Cyril said something that I disagreed with. He talked about how Shatta over the year rebranded. Look at the space, the time frame rather. When did Shatta rebrand from Bandana to Shatta Wale? Going into the digital era. You understand? So there's been the novelty had a group of people following and who was available.
So are you saying if Lumba was in digital
that's
era,
what I'm saying.
But that's the same thing I also said.
So
and that's why I'm adding that in few years to come, this same narrative will be another conversation on maybe a show like this, because at that time there'll be a new king, and there'll be the alpha gen and whatever people who will be busy on their phones, whilst people like their parents are busy looking for money. So they are not concerned about which artist is there. But so at that point, Shatta Wale at that point will be now history that will be used as reference. Hey, back in the 2000s and all of that, there was an artist like how we do to Lord Kenya. There's an artist like that. There was an artist like that who used to do this. He had a huge fan base, and your child would say, "Who is he?" We have our new king called something else.
Back to what it was on the influence of the fan armies on the artists and in the music industry. I don't know which one should tackle first, whether the artists or the music industry.
I think
let's do with the. I'm thinking with the music industry because of what Kwame Eugene also mentioned.
It's true.
Has this over the years stalled the progress or the evolution or the growth, expansion, marketing of our music, or has it added that much value by being able to have these separatists?
St. Peter's is already up.
Yes, St. Peter's.
Thank you for your question.
But you want to read the story first? Or?
Okay, read the story.
We can put the story now on the screens now, and then we can read it real quickly on what Kwame Eugene said.
Before we come up to... Because I'd hinging off
Well, I want to give credit to GhanaShowbiz.com. We'll read through. It says, I have listeners, not fans. Wow. Fan bases haven't helped our industry. Now, let's quickly run through the story. It says, the rock star Kwame Eugene, in his bid of fighting fan bases in Ghana, has stated that he has only, and I want to correct the English there, he has only listeners but not a fan base. Now, speaking on Hits FM's Daybreak Hits with Andy Dosty, the Obiatu singer has confidently stated that he has good Ghanaian listeners who enjoy listening to his songs but not a fan base. It goes on to say that, well, I do not have fans, I have listeners, I have good Ghanaian listeners, I do not believe in forming a fan base. Making his assertion very clear, Eugene said he does not find interest in forming a fan base. Yes. It says in his recent interviews, the famous Angela singer made known how fan bases are destroying the Ghanaian music industry. All right, we'll leave it right there. So, do you agree with that or disagree?
I agree to a large extent.
I agree with Kwame on the fact that it's destroying.
How is it destroying
fabric? You asked the question first. The question I raised my hand to was, is it necessary? And yes, it's necessary.
It is.
Now, pardon?
Is it necessary
to have fan bases?
To have fan bases. That was the first question we were addressing. And it's very necessary. Fan bases were actually created, right? Fan bases didn't used to exist. There was no thing like putting together a collective around an artist in a conscious effort. They were created as marketing platforms. Get the collective, and then you can merchandise the life out of a brand. Sell duvets, costumes, video games, ad slots, billboards. It was a marketing tool. The same way when your favorite bank is trying to do an activation, they give you a song to sing so that everybody singing that song is in the mindset, or they give you an attire, or when you...
I mean, MTN has a family, MTN family.
Exactly. So creating fan bases is quite...
Like MTN have fan base like Shatta Women.
Yeah.
I mean, MTN and Shatta Women. Which one?
MTN.
Who has got more following?
You get it. But in Ghana, we have done very little to actually bring value to the fan base.
How?
The fan base needs to be structured. And when I say structured, the best word for that is manipulated. The fan base needs to be consciously manipulated to become a consumership. They need to be able to consume off the artist, even when the artist is not making music, right? So all the things I'm saying, paraphernalia, apparel, cross-marketing, merchandising, all that, we need to do that actively. It's not just, we have relegated our fan bases in Ghana to the promotion of music. That J. Foley has dropped a song now. Let's get them to go and push up the numbers, watch the YouTube video.
But what else can they do?
I'm just wondering. Like, isn't that a good thing? Isn't that a good thing?
What else can they do? Yes. When Chris Brown was doing meet and greet and collecting money, we laughed about it. Yeah. But that used to be called backstage access. Right. When people used to pay to go and hang out with Michael Jackson.
The artists should do that.
The artists
not just drop music.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now, don't just use your fan base.
Don't after I use my data to support you, I should still come and pay to see
don't
you.
Use. Yes, that's what I'm saying. That so it's an attitudinal thing. Yeah. We've had many African brands try to take off their success and create apparel brands, jeans brands, shirts, T-shirts. It always flops. Yeah. Excuse me to say. Yeah. It always tanks. Yeah. Why? Because the consumer engagement, the fan-based engagement, they don't lock them in to turn the love is plastic. It's surface value. You have the few people who tattoo and olele on their forehead and all that, and that's deep love, right? That's deep love, right? But that is not the masses. The masses love the music, and the relationship ends at the music.
Cyril, please.
My mother,
Sarknative has just shared a video of the performance of a diehard fan of Sarknative. I'm very sure. Anyway, this is a blog site. It says GH Hip Hop.
I thought they had put my mother on Twitter. So
no, I shared a video of the performance of Sarknative, the Global Citizen. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that there are people who were the hard guy. Hard guy. Quite a number of tweets coming in here. Yeah, Cyril, please. Sorry, I cut into the point though. But
St. Peters will take 6 points.
No, but what Cyril said is it's important because
I don't see how fan bases have destroyed or stalled or
no. I'm not saying I'm not saying they have destroyed. Nowhere am I saying they have destroyed anything.
Yes.
I'm saying that the original mindset for which fan bases were engineered, right, was to create a marketing sales force that artists and artist brands could sell to. Right? So even when movie actors are off camera, you have them doing modeling or they are doing CSIs to build stuff. Like if they say the J. Foley, the Gucci boxes, the J. Foley whatever, for summer 23, the J. Foley collection. What's that? It's fan-based. The people who are J. Foley fans, instead of going to buy Olele boxes, will buy the Foley boxes. So instead of just using them for what you are known for on the face value as a musician. So when I drop my MP3, go stream, go watch my video. That's step one of utilizing a fan base. You should find a way to engage your fan base so much that your fan base is free revenue.
So do you feel that the artists have turned their fan bases into
promotional tools?
On each other? Has it gotten to the point where because I'm a Beam native and when I know an SM, when I know an SM, has released a song. I'm not even going to go there to listen to support it.
Bro, let me put a dare out, right? If fan bases in Ghana, right, are all love and deep and so engaged in the music, whatever fan base you want, call it out. I'll let you guys select which fan base. Each member who is a diehard member of that fan base should momo 10 CDs to their artist and see the billions that artist to make within a few hours. Okay, bro, hear me. Jeff Oli has a following of 10 million Ghanaians. Kumasi to whatever.
Hallelujah.
Let them send one CD. Just put it there that you are dying. They should send you one Ghana CD. Each, they die, it's over. In the next 2 hours, it's over for Jeff Oli. God forbid. They should send you one CD. See if it works.
Is that
but people are out there paying $1,000 to hang out with Chris Brown.
So
look at the context, though.
Are you saying that
the markets are different?
Are you saying the artists have not
one CD?
Are you saying that the artists have not tapped into the mini opportunities?
I'm saying it's cosmetic.
It's cosmetic.
It's cosmetic, and it only resonates with the music videos, the shows, and the fights. Listen, it's 4 things. The music. I'm just proving it for you.
No, I'm saying that the music is automatic.
The music videos, bro.
Behind the scenes, behind the cameras, they have not been involved in some, offline activities.
When people are riding for Selena Gomez, when people were jumping off hotel windows for Michael Jackson, right? Yeah. When people were marching down the road because Bob Marley was coming to play somewhere, didn't you see it? Was it hidden?
Oh no, the Ghanaian is discerning. The Ghanaian is a discerning African.
So you do it in secret. You do your mad fan laugh in secret.
No, he wouldn't jump from a window because of an artist.
But you tattoo somebody's name on your forehead. But you jump from a first floor.
Who have you seen?
If you give me
which Ghanaian have you seen?
If you give me the 2 options, that I love J. Cole, I have 2 options. I should go upstairs and jump, or I should write J. Cole on my forehead. What do you think? What's
you
going
do
on?
none because
what's
you're
going
Ghanaian.
on here?
You are a descendant African. You will not do that.
Me, J. Cole, I'll jump. Wait for me. If
your home training.
No, but what is stopping him? He's taking too
long. My home training? My home has done what?
No, but listen. For how many years have you
does anybody get what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
We have only 4 ways we engage fan bases in this country. Music promotion, video promotion, performance engagement and appearance. And then when there's as a defense mechanism, like you said, that's it. Somebody's coming for me. Where's my army?
It's not because the market has been tried and tested. Have you asked these people who have opened shops for their paraphernalia how well it's gone?
Yeah.
It didn't go well.
Exactly. So why will I I'll continue to use the winning formula. Why would I want to now start worrying myself? Oh, I'm going to now create. Look, somebody had a shop that he was selling foods. How many people bought it? You need to ask whether their fan base are ready to spend beyond the data on social media or the data they use to consume their songs.
Lizzie, you're making my point for me.
Even ask yourself whether those fan base or the fans who show up at the concert are not giving free tickets to show up.
You are making my point for me, Miss G.
We are going to come to Die Hard. I think it's a very...
Do you get that she's making my point for me? That is exactly what I'm saying. That if the person is a die-hard fan, they will buy your 1,000 CD ticket.
They don't have the means.
Oh.
They have let's check the ratio of the
people in America and the UK save up to go. Let's not make it look like it's raining. Let's not make it look like it's raining in America. It's raining money in America and UK or in Europe.
It's raining money there.
No,
the age
people
range.
save to go to their favorite artist concert.
Why we do same here?
So exactly my point. So if your favorite artist point is 100, artist ticket is 200 CDs, and you know that he's going to play a show in August, and you are diehard, and between January and August, you are diehard for this person, you can't save the 200
So I've saved enough to go for the concert. I don't have enough to buy a boot from him. I don't have enough to buy another paraphernalia for him. I have saved, because how much do I have? Let's check the age range of these fan bases and see that a lot of them are people, excuse me to say, who are not even working.
Not all the fan bases. A lot of our fan bases working.
Age range. I'm not talking about, the range. Of course, so let me tell you, the fan base of some of these are artists who are senior fans who will call them and say, come and take 80,000 check, go and pay for your venue that you are going to host your show. They are not the ones who are on Twitter.
Yes.
They are not the ones who will come and make noise about it.
Yeah.
But they are also fans. Yeah. But if you check, how many of them do you have in that artist fan base?
Catalog, yeah.
You understand? That's the thing. You have more of the people who have Sebi, forgive my language.
Spenders.
You know,
you have the spenders, you have those who don't.
Police fan base is 21-31.
No, it's TOTO. You can decide to call it out, you know. So the reality on the ground, the reality on the ground is that people have fan bases, but the range of fans they have do not warrant some of the things that they do. Look, the man who is signing 80,000 CDs for, say, one of the artists, I'm just assuming, is not the one who wants to wear his shirts roaming around town. He has his money. He wants to rock his designers. He wants to drive in a certain kind of. He doesn't want that sticker on his car, but he's a fan. But the one who wants the sticker on his car, who wants the shirt to wear and flaunt, does not have that kind of money to be buying all the things that you are merchandising. So we have to see the difference in these fan bases.
But it doesn't take
I agree with you perfectly.
It doesn't take anything away from them. But those are the same fan bases that will do the damage control on
there's
social
another
media
area
for
here
you.
to Binko, aka Brad Bryce. He says the conversation on fan base is a dicey one. If it would be limited to shows and others, he says the three biggest armies are inclined more to artists, while the others are a collation from religious bodies. He mentioned Diana Hamilton. I know, right? Anyway, it says, as for today, I don't agree with Cyril about attributing Bhimnation more reserved or well-mannered than the SM fans. Well, Mont, he's coming in here. Okay, so...
I just want to say that what Mizzy and Cyril are saying are facts, they are true, in the sense that there are definitely levels to the fandom, right? You have the big spenders who will pay more.
So have these armies, have they added any, have they made, based off what Kwame Eugene shared, does Brenner Boy or Wizkid have?
They do.
They have their fan and
they
do.
I don't
think they have names, but they have their fans.
They have Wizkid FC.
Really?
Yes, they have Wizkid FC. The video has this Bhimnation, 30 billion gang. And Brenner Boy too has, his fan base. He calls them the outsiders.
Really?
Yes. And they have contributed. So it's so organic to the point where if you tweet something about Wizkid, if it's positive, you increase your following. If it's not positive, you have a mammoth mentions turning you down. When Wizkid came and he goofed about this whole thing, right? That was why I had to take a second look at what this fan army is, because he clearly goofed. But still, people said, but it's because he charged 1 million.
Aren't you used to that in your country?
I mean, I'm used to that.
Where people goof and their armies or their
exactly,
fans
and that's what I'm saying.
You,
that so I was even going to ask, at what point does it become toxic? At what point has it become a reflection of you, the individual?
It has become.
At what point do you realize that you've lost yourself and the idol or the person that you've idolized has become the impression of your true character? Because if I grew, that's what I was asking Cyril, that if you had home training, under no circumstance would you want to jump in the name of your artist, right? Because common sense would work. Your conscience will work. No, I conviction
think they do have.
Will work.
Sometimes I think they have home training where they've been brainwashed.
I don't think you guys have seen. When you are done, go online and go online and go and check out crazy fans.
Cyril, I get it. No, my point is, listen. Allow me.
Listen to me.
I get
you.
My issue, we are talking about fan bases in Ghana. I'm not talking about fan bases in the States. We've seen people who went to Michael Jackson's show and they died. Michael Jackson he came on stage, he didn't say anything. People were collapsing, passing out, ambulance, ping, 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 ping. That is them.
Okay.
There are some things that black people...
Just here.
I'm talking about us, Africans.
We not
go do. Bro, black people, same way a white man will stand and want to go into the deep of the abyss to find out what's really going on.
Caucasian curiosity.
Bro,
that's what it's called.
Black man is running, bro.
So there's this video.
If Cyril starts to run, if Cyril runs from this studio right now, we're not going to ask, oh boy, what's
happening?
We are all going to follow him and run. It's because that's how we are.
Then we go outside and it's only my delivery.
There's a video on TikTok of a black man that enters a shop when there was nobody in the shop. It was haunted, and then the voice just says, leave now. He didn't say anything. He just turned around and left.
It is how
white guy now wants to turn the torch on and look for where the voice is coming from.
It is who we are. One of these Hollywood stars put a diamond, on his forehead. 4K carat diamond on his forehead. If I was his fan, Bro, that is ridiculous.
Absurd.
I'm not going to, like, whoever you are, yes, you know, because where I'm coming from, common sense will tell me that I'm not going to put a diamond there.
But you
find somebody in that demographic who finds it very cute, finds it very amazing, and would want to replicate it. That's their problem. I am talking about here, Ghana, Africa, the kind of fan armies we are populating, from Wizkid FC to 30 Billion Gang to Shatta Nation, Shatta Movement to Sarknatives, so much so that if you're not careful, you even call them the wrong name, you're in trouble.
But I think to some extent,
it's become
to some extent, some of these things, even though it's not the extreme, like he say, happen in Ghana, have you noticed that people who have haircuts to reflect their ambassador or their president, people actually dress
Joey
to
B
reflect...
and Patrick Ojo inspired, you know, a fashion trend of the tattered jeans or porthole jeans or whatever they call it.
That could have been monetized.
With bandanas. Even the Asaka movement, when they came, one of the things that we saw was the use of the bandanas. And I'm sure maybe as a result of education, they realized that it actually has representation abroad, where the bloods and the stuff, the history of the and stuff like that. So I'm sure with that bit they had to tone down and then rebrand on that level. But we've seen what Miji said. We've seen people who are inspired by Shatta. When Sarkodie came fresh with his signature fade haircut, we even started seeing, you know, double gangers of him in his beard, the way he shaves his beard, the same way they were doing it. Stonebwoy, he had this way of
Kobiche.
The last time when you remember the last time when
Kobiche looks like Sarkodie.
Even you used to rock Bhimnation's.
The last time when you did your hairstyle a particular way, someone said are you a Beam native now? Because Stonebwoy was known to be doing.
So we revoked his application.
I'll be back. We're just going through.
I'm still on the board. I'm
saying that all these things are beautiful, but the moment it gets to a point where you lose your personal value, then becomes a problem.
And that's where the toxicity comes in.
Miss G, 3-1.
It's a lie. Hey, what about What about Habib?
Oh, my girlfriend, you are doing well. I'm so proud of you.
That's where Kwame Eugène's point comes in about how these, because it's like, so as Samini has released a song, it's a beautiful song, but because I have written my name as J.
I can't even be seen
commenting, or J. Shatta or J.
I can't be seen on social media commenting on that.
Yeah, you know, when somebody will come and take me out from there and say, "But are you here or are you there?" You know, and
it's ridiculous.
And it brings a lot of separation within the industry.
Jay, let me. I'm going to
have
say
the
this.
negatives outweigh the positives.
It has a lot.
Is it?
You know what I'm saying? That
them.
I'm going to use that, and they're going to come after me. But I'm going to say anyways. When Shatta did a song with Beyonce, right? If you look at the reaction was a collaborative reaction because it's Shatta on a Beyonce song. Is King of African Dancehall Reggae on a Beyonce song. The collaboration and the comments were in droves. You could see that, everybody was excited about it, right? Okay. I can't speak for how Sark Nation responded to it. If they had their issues, cool. But when Sark did a record with Bob Marley, we saw the division in comments. We saw people intentionally looking to find issues. And I'm talking about fan bases. Because it's not their favorite on the record.
Also because
saying things like he's done a song with a ghost, he's done with that.
No, is it also? No, I don't even blame the fan. Is it not also because? And I was saying this recently. That it's not because my leader has said something.
That is why I'm saying that when you lose your sense of reasoning.
So I have to toe his line.
No.
I have to show that I am a die-hard fan.
No.
If my leader says Sebi Sebi is a ghost song, why should I go and say it's an alive song?
No.
Exactly what I was saying.
And that is why I'm saying that it's become very toxic. Let's forget about the song and look at what happened with Sarkodie and Samini. Look at how the Sarknatives behaved towards Samini. It was appalling. I felt embarrassed. I felt sad. To an extent, I went on social media and said, would there be a time where the leaders of these fan bases will call their followers to order and say, hey, this is an OG. Don't mess with him like that.
I have heard and seen Sark call his fans to order.
I'm asking because I felt really embarrassed. Like looking at what they were saying about Samini. I say, hey, like I'm saying to you, this is a Samini I grew up idolizing. Yeah. That's how they will come tomorrow and say, hey, this person that we grew up idolizing was a huge brand. At that time, their kids will be saying trash because the generation have seen that this is what goes on. But when we streamline it and say, look, yes, you might be a die-hard fan of mine, but I don't condone this. But I won't let you do that. We'll realize that
because the moment it starts entering into the realm of violence, people having the confidence to say, we will beat you, we will do this, we will do that. And they are proud to say that because they know they have some kind of backing. Then there's
because
a
they've been sent out to go and beat.
Do you get it? Because the fan bases, the fan armies were not designed, like Cyril said, they were not designed to instill violence. They were not designed to put fear. It was rather to promote and protect your artists. You protect your artists with evidence. You protect your artists with facts. You protect your artist with his work that he has produced. You don't protect your artist by inflicting violence. Kobiche was slapped.
Yeah.
By
what do you call a Shatta member, because he spoke.
Alleged Shatta member.
No, he was a
photographer.
And it's online. It's online. You can check it.
Ex-Shatta photographer.
I tried.
He was slapped for free. Why? Because
I hear a fan of Yaponutu who was slapped.
Look at that. Do you get what I'm saying? So at what point do we say no? The requirements or the metrics, and that's why I would want to start with Beach in the sense that the leaders of these fan armies need to always engage, unless of course they also want to support what is happening.
But when you keep quiet, is that not what he tells?
Well, I mean, I want to believe
silence
that,
is consent.
I want to believe
when
that,
you keep quiet, it looks like
that's
an
why I keep
agreement.
What did people do to what alleged Sarknatives? But I don't know whether it was Sarknatives also. But what did people do to Samini with regards to the incident?
No, you didn't see.
They watered the conversation down to that he wanted a verse from Sarkodie, and Sarkodie refused to give him a verse, and he's jealous about Sarkodie featuring on Beyonce's track. On Bob Marley and the Wale track, and the timing of the thing. So there were insults, and I say insults.
So much so that
you're not arguing out the issues, but you are insulting somebody old enough to be your father, your brother.
Bro, there's nothing wrong defending your artist, right? But if you want to defend your artist, come with facts, come with figures, come with data. Do you get me? But it shouldn't be an emotive approach. So much so that even as journalists, when we speak on a matter, fans are able to tell us that we hate the artist. Like, bro, I have a lot of stories to think about. Why should I hate your artist? For what?
Look, you guys, and you know,
why should I hate your artist?
Let me just add to it.
Do you know what I'm saying?
It's even extreme.
When we come here, and I said it this morning,
we've got a minute more.
When we come here and the mics go up and we pick up the pen, whether I'm a Beam native, I'm a Sark Nation, whatever, it doesn't matter. You speak to the matter. That is what matters.
Yeah.
If you find me at a Shatta movement concert, I am there, two things. Either I'm there on reporting duty or because I want to enjoy the music or the record. But journalism is just like putting on a military or a police uniform. When the mics go up and the pen lifts up, whether you are a Sark Nation or whatever, it ends, it finishes. When the mics go off and we are hanging about, we can talk, oh, Charlie, shut up, but when we come here, we want to break it down. Look at the technicalities, look at what the song will offer, look at the opportunities here, and so on and so forth. But if you want to rope us in your toxicity, I'm sorry.
Which school is this?
Alphabeta. And so clinic.
And you see, what is even more
our time is up,
difficult to consume is when even you're a female in this space. And people sit there and watch their fan base come. I've seen fan base write all nasty things, and I want to use this opportunity to say every female who finds themselves, especially in this entertainment business, Charlie, you have to brave up and don't let. I think it's bullying. They try to bully, especially the females, because they know that me, I'll respond when I want to. If I'm in the mood for you, you and I will do it on that social media. But some people will shy away. I mean, they do it to the extent that somebody say, "Oh, you have eaten all your children in your womb." Yes, and that's the person. And
you see, this is what I'm saying.
I don't care. I said, so why are you the one worried? Because if I've eaten my children, I should be worried. They do it to bully you and to derail you, so that next time you're afraid. Hey, because come, Masema.
Nah.
And I'm saying to every female in the space, just get yourself ready, because they'll call you prostitutes, they'll say this, they'll say that, just because you're doing your job.
And you know that's why we can't critique our music well.
Coming A+, for example.
That's why you can't.
You know we can't. That's why we can't critique our music, and we allow people to put trash out because you are afraid that an honest review. See what you're trying to do there, but your mix needs to get better. It's not really hitting. We played it here, blah blah blah. So you can't say that.
I think we should use that to talk about what is currently trending around with the Mr. Logic said that the Sarknatives Estera remix. He felt that should have been a bit more localized. And I've seen Black Ras also commenting on that as well. That sounds interesting.
I also want to quickly add.
If the focus was Ghana, if the focus was only Ghana, yes, I agree perfectly.
I want to quickly add that it's not to say that media personalities and journalists are not above rebuke. We are not saying that.
And we don't always get it right.
There are times where we miss it. And when we miss it, we look to improve. But even with that, people don't see that. The moment you go on a particular tangent, if you're having a conversation with your favorite, and it is sweet, oh, child, that's a fantastic interview, that's a fantastic conversation. But the moment you hit them on the premise of things they've done, be it in the past, in the present, whatsoever, oh, you don't know your job. Oh, Charlie, you don't have the right to ask. You don't have the right to ask that. No.
Of all the questions, why this question? That's what they tell you. Of all the questions you could ask this person.
It's like me telling the policeman who I have crossed the red light.
When Familia came here, right? And at a point in time, when he was speaking a lot of tree, and then at a point in time,
this man
I asked that, now, when I saw some of the comments and the insults, I just said to myself that, so what if I don't, the person interview, what if I don't understand what he's saying? Am I not allowed to ask him?
Why are you a Ghanaian? You don't understand.
Can you imagine?
Am I not allowed? But trees only.
Are we trees are national language.
To come back to the same tribalistic.
Am I not allowed to ask the artist to add a certain language that is universal? Am I not allowed?
So let me give you an example. For instance, when Phils came here yesterday, he decided to speak Yoruba all through.
Yeah.
How will we understand?
Exactly.
How will Ghanaians understand? So look at the other way around.
We don't understand before we are singing Oju Alegba.
Are we even singing it right? Are we singing it right?
We don't understand before we sing it. We don't understand before we sang Jerusalem A to Z.
Look, the way some people they sing, you know that I see what you want to know. You know if I see, I say I did vex. People they sing the song. I say, hey.
There are some lovers of music who will go deep.
And there's some music that comes with lyrics.
I have a question for the house. So before we close, how are we able to sing Jerusalem A to Z, but people don't want to sing them songs?
Do you know if people sang it A to Z?
Oh, I've not been in public before.
I mix the lyrics a lot of times.
It's even been sung in my ear.
I want to say that
my brother, hello, sweetheart. It's even been sung in my ear.
The fan armies
wrap it up. We have to go now.
The fan armies are loved. They contribute to the ecosystem. They contribute to the community. But they should know when it becomes toxic. You should know when you are losing yourself. Okay? You should know when you are losing yourself in your bid to support your artists. Because even the artists themselves have a mind on their own. So don't think that when you get into trouble with the law.
This is the last comment that has come in. Me asked to put it out real quick. It says the media, I don't have the number. It says the media plays a significant role in fueling the fire of controversy. The way they frame questions and report on events can sometimes stoke anger and add to the problem, rather than providing an objective perspective. I wish I had the name here.
To some point, exactly. Because we don't know the answers these artists give.
Yes.
Ours is to ask questions.
Yeah, we have to run out from here now.
What answers they give.
I think, Jay, I would like to make a call.
Yeah, our time is up.
The fan armies, the leaders of the fan armies, if they would want to come.
They have a conversation.
Yeah, I've been asked to cut off now.
Let us know.
All right, we're back here same time tomorrow. My name is Jay Fully. Thank you very much for the team for making this happen, and we are out.